Good morning, children. Welcome back to today's class. So till yesterday we have studied about the mixtures, compounds, how to separate the compounds from mixtures, as well as the methods of separation. In that we have learned about winnowing, that farmers used to separate the husk from the grains. And if anything that contains more than two substances, it is known as mixture. Like example, laddu and tea, so they contain one or more than one compound, so it is a mixture. Now we are going to learn today about sedimentation and decantation. Take a mixture of soil and water in a glass tumbler and keep it undisturbed for some time. What do you observe? You will find that the sand and the mud particles in the soil settle down at the bottom of the glass tumbler. These are called sediments. So already I have done it for you. This is a glass tumbler and I have taken sand as well as mud. So I kept it for about 5 minutes aside. What happens? The mud and the sand both will settle at the bottom of the glass tumbler. That means at the bottom end of the glass. So it is settled down here. So the sand and the mud is called as sediments. This is called as sediments. This process of separation of mud and sand is called sedimentation. So the process of separation of mud and sand is called as sedimentation. After sedimentation, the tumbler is gently lifted. The tip of the tumbler is inclined on the edge of another tumbler without disturbing the sediments. The water gets separated from the sediment. This process is called decantation. So as we are learning about sedimentation and decantation, now I have shown you the example. The sand and the mud particles are settled at the bottom of the glass tumbler. This is called as sedimentation. Now about decantation. So what they are asking for the decantation, you have to take one more tumbler and you have to take the tumbler that is with sand and mud. So the tip of the tumbler, this is the tip of the tumbler. It should be kept in an inclined position. Means this is called as inclined position. This is called as inclined in this way. The ramp, example, the ramp in the hospitals and in your houses, the ramp that is used for parents to keep the bike inside the house. So the tip of the tumbler is inclined at the edge of the another glass tumbler in this way. What happens when you do like this? Only the water from the other tumbler will fall into this tumbler. Now you can see only water in this tumbler and sand and mud particles in this tumbler. The water gets separated. This water gets separated from this tumbler and the sediments are in this tumbler. So the water gets separated from the sediments. This process is called decantation. So here one more thing you can learn, that soil is not soluble in water. As we have studied yesterday, water soluble and water insoluble. If you put sugar in this water, it will be dissolved. That means it will be soluble, and salt also will get soluble. But whereas sand does not get soluble, it settles down at the bottom of the glass. So these are the sediments. So now the sediments, separating the sediments from the water is called decantation method. So figure number A and B they have given already, but I have shown you an example. Why did mud particles settle at the bottom of the tumbler? Lakshmi says that sedimentation and decantations are used at home while cleaning rice and pulses for cooking. Why they have settled at the bottom of the glass? Because they are sediments, they are not soluble in water, so they have settled at the bottom of the glass. And here the Lakshmi is saying that sedimentation and decantation are used at home regularly. In your home you can see this process when your mother cleans the rice and pulses before cooking. Yes, when your mother when she'll clean the rice, what happens? She'll same in this method. She'll keep in the inclined position and she'll remove the water and she'll separate the rice whitely. Same process will be done when you are cleaning the pulses. Think of other examples where we use this method separation. So still you have to observe where this method is used. Decantation and sedimentation. Sieving and filtration. How will you separate the tea leaves from tea? Tea leaves are separated from tea using a strainer. Yes, you can observe in your home when your mother puts tea in a glass, she'll use the strainer to separate the tea leaves. Which property helped in separation of tea leaves from tea? So strainer is helped to separate the tea leaves from the tea. You must have seen flour being sieved in the kitchen. The flour particles are very fine and pass through the holes of a sieve, but the husk particles being large and left on the sieve. This is called as a sieve. You can see in your kitchen. Before preparing roti, the flour will be sieved with the help of a sieve. So while doing this, what does the sieve do? It will separate the husk particles from the flour. If any small sand particles or some stones are there, it will also separate it. We use sieves to separate tea leaves from tea and sand from gravel. So while constructing the house, they'll use the gravel to separate the sand particles from the sand. To get more fine quality of sand, they'll use the gravel. What are the differences between the sieves used in two instances? So in above, when preparing the tea, while pouring the tea, she is used a strainer, and while it is used to separate the tea leaves, that is the property. And one more property is the gravel, that is used to separate the sand particles. And the difference of the sieves is the sieve that is used to separate the flour from the husk particles is very fine and it is used in the kitchen, whereas gravel is having little big holes and it is used during the construction of a house. Do you know farmers separate grains which are bigger in size from the smaller ones by sieving? Yes, farmers separate grains which are bigger in size from the smaller ones by sieving. They will also use the sieving method to separate the grains, bigger grains and smaller grains. The bigger grains are then used as seeds or sold at higher price. So after separating the bigger grains, they will sold it, otherwise they will use it as seeds to crop it again. Can you separate mud from muddy water using a sieve? How small should the pores of the sieve to do this? Can you separate this mud water? Now this is the mud water. Already some mud particles are there here. But can you separate this by using a sieve? No. Because mud is little soluble and we have to need very small fine pores to separate this. Use a cloth, a sieve and try to do it. Is the water clean after sieving? Gautami filled mud water with a filter paper. Can you do it? After using the filter paper to filter water, what do you find? What do you see left behind on the paper? What is obtained in the beaker? So to separate the mud from the mud water, we have to use the filter paper. It should be like a funnel. You can see here. In this way, you have to separate the mud from the mud water. Yes, after doing this, we can see small mud particles on the filter paper. Filter paper. Filter paper is a sieve made up of paper which has very fine holes. So already we have studied about the sieve that is used to separate the flour from the husk in the kitchen. So filter paper is also like a sieve, but it contains very small fine pores, holes. We can filter very small particles using this type of sieve. So by using filter paper, you can separate very small particles because it contains very small holes. Why can't we filter salt from salt water? So if you mix salt in the water, salt will get dissolved. It is soluble in the water and the water will become salty. So can you separate the salt from the salt water? Take water in a beaker, dissolve some salt in it, filter this mixture with a filter paper. Very able to separate the salt from the salt water. Why could not filter the salt from the salt water? So if you use the same filter paper to separate the salt from the salt water, it is not possible to separate the salt from the salt water. The pores in the filter paper are so minute that we cannot see them with the naked eye. So in the filter paper, we cannot see the small holes with our naked eyes. Think how small should the particles of salt dissolved in water be if they are passed through filter paper. So even the salt water, when it is passed through filter paper, it is not getting separated. That means salt particles are very, very, very small than the filter paper holes. Filter paper holes are very small that we cannot see with our eyes. Even the salt is more smaller than the filter paper holes. So we cannot separate it by using filter paper. Now crystallization. Heat some salt water in a beaker over a flame. Stir the solution with a glass rod. Continue heating till at the water in the beaker has evaporated. What is left behind in the dish? You will find salt crystals and powder in a dish. So here one more method we are going to learn, that is about crystallization. So what they are asking, to take some salt water in a beaker and over it on a flame. You have to keep it on a flame and stir the solution with a glass rod and continue heating till the water gets evaporated. Keep on stirring with a rod and keep on heating until the water full gets evaporated. So after the water gets evaporated, you can see the salt crystals are left behind in the beaker. So in this way you can separate the salt from the salt water. This method is called as crystallization. So far we have studied about the sedimentation, decantation and crystallization. So today's homework is write the definitions for sedimentation, decantation and crystallization. These three definitions you have to write. What is sedimentation, what is decantation and what is crystallization. That's it for today. Write your homework neatly, mention your name and go through the lesson. Thank you.